If you are a speaker looking for more stages and looking to have a full on demand calendar, you're in the right place. We have today with us Jackie Lapin, founder of Speaker Tunity, and right now the creator of Speaker Fests. So if you're a speaker and you're not excited at just the topic, I don't know. Stay with us. Here we go.
Empowering women on a global scale. Welcome to Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. Powerful Women Today is on a mission of inclusion, rewriting his story to include her story, and empowering, raising, and amplifying women's voices with professional speaking, publishing, original podcasting, and web TV. And now here's your host, the founder of Powerful Women Today, Carolina Billings.
Welcome, Jackie. I was just saying in the warm-up green room that one of the things I love about you is that you remain always a top performer, always ahead of trends, up with trends, and you're working it like very few people I know. So thank you for that, because you inspire all speakers out there, new and emerging voices. So tell us, you have created one of the most exciting events for speakers coming up in days, in a matter of days. So tell us about Speaker Fest.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for that wonderful introduction, love. So Speaker Fest is designed to give you all the tools that you need to take your speaking to the next level. Whether you're a hopeful, whether you're an emerging speaker or somebody that needs to grow your business using speaking, or you're a veteran speaker, we've got everything you know. The first day is committed to all about improving your stage performance and your conversion from stage and engagement from stage. The second day is all about where you find your gigs. And everything from, corporate and associations, paid and local and hidden opportunities. And then the next day is all about growing your speaker business and all the elements that need to be in place and how you can improve and monetize your speaking. And the last day is all about how to take your message off the stage to other platforms. And that's everything from, books and courses to podcasts and TV shows and, the entire gamut, summits, etc. So, but what's really fun about Speaker Fest is all the cool people we have.
Of course. And we do have a couple of our PWT mentor experts, our Powerful Women Today mentor experts, that are participating. I was going through the list again as we were preparing for today's show, and I saw Melanie's there, you are there, I am there, and I may be missing, somebody else, but is the best. And even, like names that you recognize. You've curated a fabulous panel of thought leaders. I want to mention something that I come across quite often, is if I may, is a lot of people look at speaker training or continued speaker knowledge awareness, right? And they say, you know what, I'm a veteran speaker. Like, I know everything there is to know. I don't need to participate in things like this. But the thing is, topics keep evolving. Technology keeps evolving. How information is now consumed keeps evolving.
Well, so everybody has a unique way about going about these things. And you may not know what somebody else is doing that you can grab and do. Mm-hmm. So let me just give you a touch of who is going to be at Speaker Fest.
Absolutely.
So besides of the great Carolina Billings, we've got Sam Horn, Suzanne Evans, Marie Diamond, Lisa Sasevich, Bill Walsh, Susie Carter, Michelle Villalobos, Debbie Allen, Tim Gard, who's a great humorist, talked about using humor on stage, Steve Lowell, Elizabeth McCormick, the helicopter pilot turned motivational speaker, Sanjay Nath, Vincent Phillips, Candy Barone. These people are all people who have established themselves and are really at the top level. We've got 2 Speaker Hall of Fame here. This is not your run-of-the-mill speaker summit.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
wouldn't expect you to do anything run of the mill, Jackie, for sure. So this Speaker Fest is really the who's who within the speaker. I don't want to say just the speaker industry because it's really speaking and leadership.
speaking and growing your business is really what it's all about. And what's best about this is it's free.
I
All
know.
of that information from all the, I got people to participate in Speakerfest that never do this kind of event. And you have to pay thousands of dollars to either get on their events or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a few hours with them. And we've got them here.
You know, the timing could not be better. I really, really, you know, I'm humbled and I honor your energy because to put events like this, it is a gargantuan effort. If you were not an event organizer, trust me, you have no idea. It's easier to put 100 weddings sometimes together than one of these events. So given the times, like we're all experiencing different levels of vulnerability, be it real or be it just secondhand stress. Right, which I just came across that term from one of the great thinkers, and I really appreciate the terminology. So with all of these media saturation about times being tough and one chaos after the next that has the potential of having a ripple effect on businesses. This is having like a fast-paced EMBA update of what you need to do, what is real, what isn't, and how to go about it. So tell me, when you are working with all of these incredible people, right? Why how it's not even a why, how were you able to bring them under a common purpose? What is the mission and vision of Speakerfest?
I believe that every one of these people are committed to helping improve people's lives. And I reached out to them because I believe that collectively, this information is going to spur many people to make the moves that they've been hesitating to make because they either don't know how, they don't know what, is this the right time? What are the tools? We figured if we brought it all in one place, it's going to make it so easy for people to find their level. And that's it. Not every session is for somebody. The session on how to do your speaker one sheet is really for a more emerging speaker. But the presentation on where the paid gigs are today, that's another different situation. So you'll find your level in Speakerfest, and it's just designed to take you to the next level from wherever you are to where you want to be in the next movement. And our goal at Speakerfest is basically to give you the tools to succeed at a higher level. And that's really what all of these people are committed to as well. And many of them I'm grateful to call my friends or who bought into the vision that we brought to Speakerfest.
Oh, absolutely. Like the second you and I began to think about it, it was just like, yes, like without a doubt, right? And I love what you said, that it's always about leveling up. There's no such thing as mastery. Every single person that I come across that tells me, oh, I already know, I've been doing it for 10 years. Well, the world was different 10 years ago than it is now, right? The question is, will you be able to do it for the next 10 years?
Well, and I think that also now you have more versatility because you can be doing your speaking opportunities on virtual stages, hybrid stages, or live events. And yes, live events are back in a big way. We have a resource at Speakertunity called Conference Connections. And I was just looking at the numbers today. And it is 2/3 live events of conferences that we have found or have been submitted. And by the way, anybody can submit an event if they're looking for speakers as well. Um, and of the rest, the other 1/3 is divided equally between virtual events and hybrid events, which means basically you're talking to a small group in the room, but other people are watching it streaming online.
That is, we used to say, global brands, local markets, right? But the reality is that nothing is stopping anybody from having a global brand in a global market. And
Well,
that is we're listening to how all of these incredible evidence based, because I know quite a few of the speakers that are speaking, and I'm telling you, we have survived the rings of fire to get to where we still are, and is learning that from them, is learning how they knew when to pivot, how to pivot, right? How to collaborate, whom to collaborate with, and like you said, how to get quantity is not always best when you are a speaker, is quantity and quality, right? Who else is speaking at this event? Because that determines a lot.
well, and I think too, you need to be looking at different levels. If you're, sorry, if you're at the emerging level or you speak to grow a business, you need to be looking at a lot of local events,
Mhm.
events where you can, or member based or association based or local chambers, local meetings for any particular organization in your niche or in your market, because that really enables you. And you're going to be doing more volume there, because if you're making an offer from the stage, it's going to fill your client list much faster by just speaking more and more and more. When you get up to the higher levels and you're being paid to speak, or you're just looking for, conferences at 3 or 4 or 500 or 1,000, then you don't have to speak as often, but you still need to have a steady diet of that. But so, it's much more about where you're going to find your client and how you're going to fill your client list based on what is the most effective and efficient avenue for you to do that. And where your client hangs out is where you need to be.
That's right. And you know what? And it's so important to continue to always have fresh material, from fresh testimonials to fresh recordings, right? Because that, we were all great at some point. And if you're still hanging on to those laurels, I have to tell you, it is quite easy to see through that as an event organizer or somebody that is recruiting speakers,
And
right?
fresh photos too.
I was just going to say, from your photos to everything needs to be congruent. It needs to be authentic, right? Like you want, you know how many times, and I used to think it was funny until I understood what they meant, right? When I first started, having a public career opposite to my corporate career, um, people would sign on to Zoom and they would say things like, "Oh, you look like your picture." And he's like, "Well, I would sure hope so." Right. And I'm like, okay, that was an odd comment to make. And then as I began to meet with potential, collaborators, right? You're absolutely 100% right. The packaging that is put to the market sometimes can vary quite significantly from the current deliverable,
And
right?
one of the most important thing is your speaker one sheet needs to be up to date.
That's right.
It needs to have the right images of you today. And it needs to have, and I'm a big believer in more than one presentation. It needs to have three, because if you have only one arrow in your quiver, it had better be a bullseye. But if you give people choice as a booker, you increase the odds of yourself getting booked. So you need to have at least three really compelling presentations on that speaker one sheet. And that's another thing, you talked about fresh video content and all that. You can't live your whole life on just one presentation, because sometimes you're going to be invited back and they're going to want to hear something different. And so
Ooh.
you definitely need to have an upgraded sequence. I mean, I have 20 different presentations I can do. Now, I rely on 4 or 5 of those as my core ones. But if I
Mhm.
find that this audience needs a specific thing, or this host is looking for something specific in this area, I can click over and grab the slides and just deliver that instead. And that's having the visibility of building an archive of resources that are going to maybe even take people to the same place, maybe take them to the same coaching or mastermind program. But the topic is a little different. And it
Mhm.
means that if people are, because people will turn off if they've seen you on 6 different things delivering the same presentation.
That's
So if
right.
you can put some variety in there, they're more likely to stick around. Oh, what is she or he got to say this time? I want to come see this one as well. So
And remember, your audition is during those conversations, and that is when you know you're working with the pros. Like for example, Jackie and I collaborate a lot as being part of Powerful Women Today, and we're often doing master classes, masterminds, broadcasting, web TV, and I know that if I say to Jackie, could you speak, on the next mastermind about X, right? 9 out of 10 times, I've yet to come to the one time, but 9 out of 10 times, you will always say, yes, I have a presentation for that ready. And I know that you are ready, in that these are presentations that are professional, well done. And that is what you want to, that is how you want to come across, because sometimes the invitations are last minute. Sometimes someone canceled, right? And you want to be on the list of who to call should something fall through, and for them to know that you will be ready.
I got one of those calls recently, a friend of mine who said, oh, so and so was going to speak on speaking and she just dropped out. Can you fill 3 hours? And I said, you bet I can.
That's
Because
right.
all I did was I did 3 presentations just back to back, all that kind of fed right into each other. And it was exactly what he wanted. So
I have been at events in the audience, and people have come and said, one of the panelists got stuck in traffic, or, they got into a fender bender. Can you fill in? And it's like, of course, right? That is what it means to be a professional. And that is what it means to be ready. And how you get there is through practice, 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 practice. And what Jackie said, if you are back to getting your feet wet in front of a live audience, right? Or you're trying new material, going into those live, small, niche based events is a great, because you never know who's attending. You know, because you need an audience of one, right? You never know who is attending, or who the person attending knows, that they can do that introduction, that they can get you onto a whole new, track of bringing your genius to a new audience.
one of my favorite stories is a colleague of mine who spoke to an audience of 30,000.
Oh, wow.
And then 2 days later spoke to an audience of 30. He sold way more in the audience of 30 than
That's
he
right.
did in a room full of 30,000, because
That's
it was the
right.
right audience with the right offer at the right time. So don't think because it's a small audience that it might be a waste of your time. It could be the right person, just as you said,
Mhm.
Carolina, that is sitting there in that chair. The other point that I really want to make here that's very important is you can you can wish and hope that speaking engagements are going to show up, or you can actually go and commit time on your schedule to manage the process. Whether
Mm.
that's you going out and looking for speaking gigs, or getting your speaker sheet together, or sending proposal letters, or and then doing the follow-up, or it's handing it off to a staff member, a virtual assistant, or somebody like our book for you virtual assistants,
Mhm.
so that but you got to supervise them. Don't assume that they're going to be doing
Yeah, this
everything
is
you
not
want.
delegation by abdication.
Exactly.
No part of your business is delegation by abdication. And I always recommend this. This goes back to my days. I've been reflecting a lot about my days in corporate, and realizing all the lessons that I'm just beginning to really grasp, is that always do it yourself first.
Yep.
Because that way you will understand the complexity of it. that you will understand perhaps your own limitations. In that way, you will also understand how long does it take, what kind of skill level is required, so that when you delegate and someone says, oh, that's going to be, $1 million a minute, or, $50 an hour, $75 an hour, you know whether that makes sense for you, right? When you consider your opportunity cost. It's either you are editing video, maybe that's not your core speed, that you can do it from a phone, like a lot of our, younger up and coming stars can do. Or, right, you could be doing interviews, or you can be a podcast guest, or you can be doing other things that nobody else can do for you.
Well, and the nice thing about, if you want to look for shortcuts like Speakertunity, which will give you all those leads, so you don't have to do it yourself in podcasts or summits or TEDx's or conferences, or
look for the aggregates.
Yeah,
we've aggregated place that you can touch once but get many.
And that's going to be great whether you're doing it or whether your team is doing it, or whether you want to have some support from us. So, that's where you're going to save your money. It's not in just handing it off to somebody. It's in doing it and setting up systems that are really going to work for you and grow your business quickly.
And these are some of the things you're going to learn from the presenters at SpeakerFest, right? How have they done it? In fact, we have the next follow-up collaboration with Jackie and all the Powerful Women Today Mentor experts is our own Spring Summit, which is My Power, My Story, My Legacy, with the companion book. And in it shows you how they have done it. It may not be 100. This is not meant to be a copycat guide, right? I'm going to be mini Jackie, mini Carolina. No, it's not that. But look at the steps they went through. Look at the challenges they went through. Because that is what makes them unique and have a unique perspective and understanding as a coach and mentor. And second, you can then see that, okay, I'll try not to go into that danger zone. Or, you know what I mean? Just to have the questions, because the answers will always be different for every person. What you're learning are the questions. How does that apply to me? Exactly. Maybe not. Right? Because I remember when I was married, the golden years, my ex-husband, nice gentleman, but he's like a 6'2", Anglo-Saxon establishment kind of guy, right? And I'm, 5'2", new Canadian, I don't like confrontation, right? As one of my core values. So when he used to say, well, this is what you need to do. You need to blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, there's no way I can pull that off, because that's not me, right? So when you are hearing all these experts share their wisdom and their greatness, always consider, does that work for me? And maybe sometimes it's by trying that you're going to find out, does that work for you, right? But always remember, your solution is for you alone. So Jackie, SpeakerFest, we're going to put all of the information in the link below. It is 100% free. Free. Your investment is your time and an open mind. And there's more.
And if you can't attend April 13th through 16th, you can also get the VIP pass. Now, that is going to cost you $97. But it's going to give you all those recordings. And if you think that some of the stuff was just, I've been in the speaker business a long time. Every one of those sessions, I came away, and you'll hear it on the recording, saying, oh, that's something new I had not thought of. This is a great new idea. I learned stuff from every single one of those people.
Brilliant. Just brilliant. We could do these all day. But we're at the top of our segment. And I thank you so much, Jackie, for your energy, for your commitment, for your constant learning, and always trying to improve the life of others. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you next time.
Empowering women on a global scale. This has been Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. To learn more about how you can join and transform your life and the lives of women everywhere with professional speaking, publishing, podcasting, and web TV, visit powerfulwomentoday.com. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen and watch your podcasts.